Hi, and welcome to AMA Puget Sound's last webinar of 2023. Welcome back to the channel if you haven't been here in a while, and glad to see everyone. So this is being broadcast live on YouTube and LinkedIn. If you're here as a webinar participant, hello. If you are on LinkedIn, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel and check out our past episodes of the Coffee Talk series where I spoke with marketing professionals from all over the world. Today, we have Ben Holland, and he will be talking about unlocking the power of customer experience data. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, thank you so much for
Hi.
having me.
Absolutely. I'm going to remove myself, and it's all you.
Great. Well, I'm so glad to have you all here, and I really appreciate you taking some time on your lunch. Hopefully maybe an early lunch to spend with me. It's my birthday, and I'm glad I get to share my birthday with all of y'all. So thanks for giving me the best party a man could hope for. I want to give a big thanks to AMA. They've been great to work with. I was a part of the AMA for 5 years in Phoenix. I was a president for one of them over there, and I wouldn't be where I am with my career and my networking and just my friends if I hadn't joined the AMA, been part of the board, and just gone to all these events. So I highly recommend it. If you aren't a part of the AMA, please do join. And if you want to hop on that board and help out, it'll be greatly appreciated. And you're going to build friendships and bonds that last you a really, really long time. So couldn't say more good things about the AMA, but we're not here to wax poetically about the American Marketing Association. We're here to talk about, customer experience data and using it to drive marketing strategy. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. What's in it for you, right? That we're marketers. We care about the what's in it for you. So you're going to learn how to increase revenue. You're going to learn how to understand your competitive landscape, and it's going to give you clear direction for your marketing. That's what this talk will do. And at the end, I have a few bonus tips that everybody really likes. So if you stick around until then, you'll learn a lot in the last, 2 or 3 minutes. My gift for you for coming today is our vendor search checklist. This is something I put together. If you're ever looking for a voice of customer or customer experience research vendor type of stuff our company does, here's a free little download checklist so you can help compare everything that you need to compare. Just use that QR code or go to the link right there at the bottom. These slides should be available at the end, right? I'm going to send them over to the AMA, and they'll disperse them to everybody who attended. So don't feel like you got to write down everything feverishly, because I know I talk fast and I click through these pretty fast too. The agenda. All right, this is what we're going to be doing today. It's what data do you need? Okay, the best tools to use, how to gather it, and where to look for the data. So the data is kind of where you start. Then I'm going to give you 4 tactics to do with this data. If you don't have it, right? If you don't have a customer experience program, you're not doing any voice of customer, that's okay. I'm going to show you what to do if you don't have any of that data, all right? And then I'll give you some bonus tips, basically talk about the tools I use, how I work day to day over here, and just some general marketing tips. All right, so about me, I love dogs, if you couldn't tell. So you're going to see some cute little puppies throughout this talk. I was the president of the AMA for a year. I was on the board for 5 years. I was lucky enough to be the Marketer of the Year award winner in 2020. I've also had a pest control company in Phoenix, and I've been on Dirty Jobs. I've been on the New York Times. I've had a lot of great publicity because of the really unique business that I started. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm more than happy to connect on LinkedIn. So please connect there. And if you want to talk more about me, we can do it there, because I'm here to talk about customer experience and marketing. Satric Solutions is the company that I work for, and we do customer experience employee engagement consulting. That's the tie-in here, and our little shtick for you today, our call to action, if you will, us marketers, we always need a CTA, is, contact us. The first 3 inquiries get a free consultation. So just hit that QR code and fill out the form, and you'll get to chat with our team for free. There we go. CX data. So not everybody knows what customer experience data is. So there's a few different tools you can use to gather it, right? And the things that we're going to be talking about today are the Net Promoter Score surveys, relationship customer experience surveys, a lot of people call them CSATs, sales win-loss interviews, customer churn interviews, and then customer advisory boards. And I'll quickly go over each of these because not everybody might know exactly what they are. So Net Promoter, NPS, it's pretty common. I'm sure you've all been asked, what's the likelihood of you recommending this to a friend or family? And gives you a scale from 0 to 10. That's what Net Promoter Score is. That's what the Net Promoter Survey is. It's been used for a very, very long time. It's a very powerful tool. And what's really important, and you'll need to know, is people who go 9 or 10 are classified as promoters. And that's really what we're going to talk about leveraging a little bit later. So it's the people that give you the A's, basically, that you want to work on. Okay. So, what is an experienced customer what is a relationship customer experience survey, right? So, these are just questions that ask, they can be general, right? What do you think about your experience? But they can also be a little bit more focused. And I really like these because you can ask pointed questions about just your own specific business. Like, do you feel we launched our last product properly? Or what's your favorite color of this certain gizmo, right? You can get very specific with it and also in generality. So these are just a few questions that you may ask in one of these surveys. And generally speaking, they're going to be having the same, 5, 7, 10 point scale. What is a sell win loss interview? So this is one of my favorite things. You either win a deal or you lose a deal. Then you have a third party come in and interview those people and figure out why you won, why you lost, and all the different key differentiators and key drivers for their decision throughout these conversations. And as you aggregate them over and over with all the deals you get, because you're great marketers and you have leads coming to you out the wazoo, you really get a good idea about your customer, what they're looking for, and you can fine tune your sales process and your delivery to close more deals. This is a really great tool, and it's probably the favorite thing that we do, my favorite thing. A churn interview is kind of the same thing, except you do it when they leave instead of when they first get in or they choose not to have you. It's the same type of questions. Why'd you leave? Who'd you go to? What do they have that we don't have? And it's a lot better when you use a third party for that because they tend to be more honest and open in those types of conversations. And that's the tie into the whole talk because we do those sorts of things for you. We allow the anonymity of the user and the customer so they don't feel bad for telling somebody why they broke up with them. It can be awkward. All right, a customer advisory board. These are a lot of fun. They're usually on the second tier of a campaign, right? So you're going to have your surveys and your interviews, and this is what you want to do in a little bit later. So we bring in your favorite customers, your best customers, the ones that have spent the most money with you, and then we interview them. We ask them pointed questions about your business and help you drive, where you're going to go with your business. So this is a really great tool. All right, so you'll see on some of these slides, I'll have a little circle up in the left-hand, right-hand corner over here, and that means you can share this one. I'm going to take a drink when that pops up. I'm going to give you an opportunity to screenshot and share it. But these are just some basic program tips for running any type of customer experience program, whether you do it your in-house with a vendor or just in general. These are some things you should keep in mind. Perfect. Oop, bam. All right. So the first tactic I'm going to talk about. Now we're getting into the tactics. You know the tools. It's time for the tactics. This is what you came here for. This is what you can take and use tomorrow in your marketing campaigns, right? So this is data-centric campaigns, and it's just using the data from your surveys and making it in advertising or putting it on your website. So here's a great example, right? Key question that might happen in one of your relationship surveys are how likely are you to renew this engagement? Okay. If you get a 4.7 out of 5, that's 94%. What I like to do is take that 94% or that big impressive number, make it big, bold, throw it on a LinkedIn ad in a carousel, and just have a bunch of these big, bold, eye-catching numbers come on, right? I'm building trust. It's being said from a client or a customer, not from myself. So people are more apt to look at it and engage with that sort of thing. So you're just taking the raw data from your survey basically, and then just putting it in advertising, or sometimes you might be putting it on your website, right? We have a client, they thought they had really good customer service and a great customer experience. So we did an NPS for them and they ended up getting a plus 86, which is ridiculous. That's amazing. It's phenomenal. Like NPS goes from negative 100 to positive 100. And so this is just a remarkable score and they were proud of it. So they wrote a blog post about how good their NPS is, right? If you got something good, if you provide a good service, why not brag about it? We've even done it before where we'll put our NPS on the homepage, just a little trust factor to give people that slight reason why they'd want to choose you over the competition. So that's what a data-centric campaign is. And this is how you do it, right? Those are the examples. This is how you do it. So you're going to use, your CSAT surveys, your NPS surveys, and we like to run these twice a year. So about every 6 months is when we'll run those. And then I'm looking for high percentages of positive feedback in the survey questions, like the perfect example I sent to you, right? You don't want to say 50% of people may or may not do something. You want that up in the 90s. You want really large, impressive numbers that are compelling, that are going to be good enough to make somebody stop and pause when they're scrolling and then click and learn more about you. So that's the key for this whole tactic is using really, really, really good data that's strong and compelling. I like to use it in advertising and then weave it into all marketing efforts. You have it in the footer of your newsletter, You could have it on your social media, put it everywhere, brag about it. It's really impressive if you have a great NPS score, for example. All right. So this is a summary slide for all 4 of our tactics. I'll have the summary slide where you can take a screenshot and share. And if you have any questions about this, I'll answer them at the end, but feel free to just put them in there as I chat, and then we'll answer them all at the end. All right. So on to the next tactic. Leveraging promoters. All right. What is leveraging promoters? What's a promoter? Well, these people are promoters. Anybody here know what their favorite movie is? Right? Probably Spider-Man, right? And how likely do you think that these people would probably go watch Venom? Right? These are your promoters. They love your brand. They're screaming from the rooftops how great you are. Okay. These are your promoters. And the way you find them is through NPS surveys and some other things you can do with your promoters, right? I like them. I like to squeeze the lemon really dry on the promoters, right? Because they're probably more willing to do more for you than anybody else, and they're going to give you the best response for it. So I like to use them for reviews. We use G2 for our reviews in our industry, and we asked one of our clients to give us a review because they were a promoter for years. And I'm like, hey, would you just give us one? And they didn't. It did it like immediately. It was fantastic. And then we used it on social media, put it on our website. You do the whole shebang. Yellow marketers, you run it through the gambit. But you take that one little piece of content, and the way you find them are through your net promoters. Another thing you can do is ask them for case studies. Case studies are very compelling, but you might not know who to ask, right? This is how you can figure out who to ask. Another thing is account-based marketing, right? So if you're wondering what account to start asking, hey, do you know anybody else that could help us? Are there any other departments that may have a need similar to yours, right? You want to go to the ones that, provide you with the best promoter score, right? Give you the 9 or the 10. So the data collection for this, right? This is how you do this. Those are the examples. This is how you do it, is you use the net promoter score survey, right? NPS, same one question everybody hears, how likely you are to recommend. We like to do it again twice a year. And then what I look at in the data here, I look for respondents that give you a 9 or a 10, okay? Because those are your promoters. Ideally, I'd start with the 10s. If I have a really good problem, if I have so many 9s and 10s, I don't know who to pick from, I'm going to pick the 10s. And if I have so many 10s, I don't know who to choose. I'm going to look at the historical data, right? We're running these every 6 months and see who's been giving me a 10 every single time, right? That's where I'm going to start with this sort of thing. And what you use them for is called advocacy marketing. Now we're going to upsell other products and services to them, right? Oh, you like Spider-Man? Maybe you'll like Venom. Why don't I interest you in a little bit of Captain America, for example, right? We're going to ask them for testimonials, ask them for reviews, ask them for case studies. Right? We're trying to get as much content out of these people as possible because it's really beneficial. And it works a lot better if it's somebody else saying it about your business than you're saying it about your business. I'll also ask them to serve as a reference for sales. So if you have somebody, a potential client, a lead on the fence, and they need somebody to talk to get them over there, ask your promoters to give you a reference. Say, here's their email, here's a phone number. They'd love to chat with you about their experience with us. We do a lot of these talks, right? We go to conferences, and sometimes we're allowed to be in a panel, and we'll always bring in some of our clients with us in these panels, and we'll start with our promoters because we think they're going to receive it the best and be more likely to have a good attitude and jump in and do a good job. We also like cross-departmental referrals, right? If a promoter likes you, somebody else at that company might like you too. So ask for somebody else's name, ask for introductions, and then beta testing. They're going to be more apt to actually do the testing and give you honest feedback if they're promoters. So this is a little summary slide about that. I'm going to take a little drink. Feel free to share if you'd like. All right. Next thing is competitive intelligence. This is my favorite picture of the. Whoa, what's that? See, you might not know what your competition's doing unless you look under the hood. All right, so this is a great example. I like this because it's 2 of my tactics in one, right? It's the data-centric campaign and the competitive intelligence. So I've done a lot of SEO, and I love Ahrefs, right? So I'm trying to find something, what tool should I use for right now? What's the best? So I do a search for, best SEO tool, and Ahrefs has an ad up there. I click on it, and this is what's on their ad. It's literally just surveys from other platforms that they've screenshot and put in their landing page, like their conversion page. And it's fantastic, right? They did the competitive intelligence. They figured out, what company is most favored and which they like the more. And then they took that data and put it right into there. So this is really great. You're surveying them and then you're showing the data. So that's competitive intelligence. Another great example is Google's Bard, right? Chat GPT is a really huge thing right now. Microsoft invested 10 billion into OpenAI, and then they took their CEO. So there's a lot of drama going on right now with that. And Google's not over here just twiddling their thumbs, right? They're like, uh-oh, our competition is doing this sort of thing, we better come up with some sort of generative AI. And that's what Bard is. I believe they just changed it up to Gemini. There was an example last week about it. It looked pretty slick. So that's just another example of how competitive intelligence can be really important. And my favorite example, now I'm not sure if they did a survey or not for this, but in the United States, it used to be the Duracell bunny, not the Energizer bunny. It was just a shtick they did like in the 70s or something for one ad, but it really did well. And Energizer took note, right? They're looking competition, and they're like, oh, that's a really good mascot. So, Duracell kind of messed up and they let that trademark slip on the bunny, and Energizer swooped in, and now it's the Energizer bunny everywhere. But in Europe, Duracell still has it. So it's the Duracell bunny in Europe. It's an Energizer bunny in the United States. And this is a great example of knowing your customer, knowing what advertising is doing well, and then leaping on an opportunity because you have that intelligence about these sorts of things, and using it to your advantage, because nobody in the United States knows what the Duracell bunny is anymore. And so how do you do this, right? You're like, oh, this sounds great, Ben, but I don't have big advertising campaigns for people to watch and see and have it be this obvious. So we're going to use the interviews. We're going to do the stuff where you actually talk to the people. So sales win loss, churn interviews, customer advisory boards. Below you can see, when we like to collect this sort of data. And what you're going to do with the data is figure out how your prospects are going to find you, right? You're going to ask them questions about where you found us. That's going to help you understand where you need to advertise. And then you're going to look for thematic analysis, right? You want to know as a whole, aggregated. One person's point of view is great, but it's much better if you have it combined with a whole lot of data, a much larger data set. So we look through themes through the ton of the data because, we listen to it and then we categorize, we do all these things, battle cards and whatnot. But we're looking for brand perception. We're looking for marketing position, the perceived value, the pricing, right? Those are four of the big things that are really important on how you fare against the competition. And then you can also identify what customer feels is your unique value proposition. You might think you know what it is, but your customers may have a totally different one that you couldn't even thought of because you got this tunnel vision because you work there. It happens all the time. And then also understand why your competitors are winning, right? You might be losing some deals and you want to know why. Okay, so that's the analysis that you're going to be doing. And the tactics you pull off of these analyses are invest in the channels that your prospects find you. If you're like, hey, where did you find us? And everybody's putting LinkedIn, I'm going to put more money into LinkedIn and pull it out of these other channels that I might be investing in. I'm going to lean into what the customers find positive, right? If they think our user experience is fantastic, I'm going to promote that in the advertising. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to make it a unique factor, okay? If your competitors are winning for a specific reason, much like Duracell and Energizer, maybe you can steal a tactic here or there. Maybe you can catch them slipping and snag a trademark, just like Energizer. And you can also create campaigns around your unique value proposition. That's something I really like to do. I ran a pest control company in Phoenix for 15 years, and we used black lights and picked up scorpions. That's all we would do, but we didn't use pesticides. And that was our unique value proposition. And that's the main thing I pushed. And that's what our customers wanted. It resonated with them. So you can really find that one thing and hone in on it and then use that in your advertising, your marketing, building your awareness. So that's your differentiator, and that's why they choose you. So here's a little summary of that. This one's a beast, I know. So feel free to read it over, take a screenshot and share. All right, next one, finding your target personas, right? I love dogs. Dogs are so cute. I got two dogs. All right, so this is what a persona sheet would be, arbitrary avatar, arbitrary name, arbitrary age, fall into this bucket. These are the things I like, right? This is kind of what we're talking about when we are looking for personas. And what I really like using personas for advertising, right? Especially with like Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these digital channels allow you to get so targeted, right? So that's why I like to find my personas, because if I can find that specific title that's always making the decision, if 99% of our clients are like the chief customer officer or the chief marketing officer, I'm going to target specifically at them with this. So it's really important to identify those personas. So how you do this, you can pretty much use all of the data for this. This is gonna come up everywhere. It's in your relationship surveys, your win-loss interviews, your churn interviews. It's like, who's winning? Who are you winning with? Is there a specific segment, vertical that you're going into, right? You're looking through this data. Company sizes, right? You might be great for enterprise, or you might be great for small, medium business. What type of company? Are you great with SaaS? Are you great with service? What works best for you? And then the location. Sometimes you might find like we do really, really well on the East Coast, but really poorly on the West Coast. So that'll help you target specific companies, but you can also target the people at the companies you want to advertise for, right? Role, the job title, the tenure, the department they're in, right? Anything that lets me chop this company into a smaller slice so I can be more targeted with my dollars is what I'm looking for with this data analysis. And then I advertise in the places where our target segments will find us easily, and I'm using persona-based segments to improve the advertising effectiveness, right? I'm looking at my ads through my persona's eyes and thinking about how they'll resonate with it. And I'm putting it where they would see it, right? I'm not going to put, an advertisement for, working, downtown on a billboard if everybody's working from home during the pandemic. You got to be in front of the people where they are. You have to be in front of the right people. And that's what finding personas through this is really, really helpful for. All right, here's a summary slide for that. Perfect. All right. Now, what if you don't have data? You're like, man, this is all great stuff. I love it. Sounds great. In a perfect world, I'd do all of it, but I don't have any of it. I don't have any of it. Don't worry. You can still do a couple of these things, right? Feedback is everywhere. Maybe your sales team has some feedback. Reviews. People love to say good and bad things about you in reviews. You can learn a lot about your company if you read them. In your CRM data, there might be nuggets within there, right? If you keep really good notes. You can also just slice up your CRM and find a lot of this data that we're looking for. Social media, much like reviews, people are really honest on social media. You can get a lot of feedback there. And then just emails with clients, right? There's gold in the emails you get from your clients. So those are all great places to look for this feedback. And what I like to do here, instead of leveraging promoters, right, you can leverage your fans, because you don't know if they're promoters because they didn't take the survey, but you can tell who a fan is, right? If somebody leaves you a 5-star review, they're probably a fan of yours, right? If they've been on your with your company for a very long time, they've been retained for a while, they're probably a fan, right? Or just go ask, your customer facing teams, who likes us the best? Who's your favorite? Who should we start with? And then you do the same things you would do with a promoter with these fans. And then other thing you can do is finding target personas, right? You can look in your sales data, retention data, customer lifetime value, and you're just really looking for those segments, right? You're looking for what vertical, company size, really, so I can just hone in and advertise smarter, right? You might be able to get one or two over here, but I want to fish where the fish are. And I really want to hone in on it and spend my money wisely and lower that cost per acquisition. That's what's great about finding target personas. All right, so that's kind of all the stuff about using customer experience data I had here. I still have my bonus tips for stick around, but if you're really into CX and you want to learn more, please visit our blog. I do a little podcast every 2 weeks. We come out, we interview some thought leader in customer experience. And if you're sick of me and you're sick of our company, there's 2 other great organizations just like the AMA, but for customer experience: CX Network, CXPA. Highly recommend them. They're great people. They're great organizations, and they work a lot like the AMA, and you can learn a lot very quickly with them. So again, feel free to contact us. The first 3 get a free consultation. But now I'm going to get into the bonus tips, which I think are a whole lot of fun. Love corgis. That's my son's favorite dog. Look, oh, all right, sorry. All right, so CRM, right? My favorite CRM is HubSpot. That's what we use. It's not perfect. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it's good enough to get the job done, and it's not too expensive, right? I think it's a great happy medium. If you're just getting started, or if you're like, I got to get out of these Excel spreadsheets, HubSpot is a really, really great tool. It's not Salesforce. It's none of those huge things, but it's a very good product. I use it every single day, and I'm very pleased with it for my CRM. I don't love their website development tool, even though we use it. I prefer WordPress. I think like 47% of the web is based on WordPress sites. So it's easy, it's quick. People can pick it up. And there's a lot of support out there, which I like about WordPress. There's plugins, and then they get updated a lot. WordPress is great. For analytics, I like Google Analytics 4. I think it's a really great tool, and they keep improving it every week. It seems like they're coming out with a new feature. So I think that's definitely the best free analytics tool, but maybe the best analytics tool in general. User experience, right? I like heat mapping, scroll mapping, where are people clicking, right? So I like Hotjar for that because it's free for like 2,000 sessions a month or something. I love free stuff. So that's a great tool. Hotjar is my preferred heat mapping tool. If you need automation, right? If somebody fills out a form and it won't do what you need it to do, and you need APIs to talk, but you don't know how to talk APIs, use Zapier. Basically, it gives you a way to drag and drop APIs together. So you can make this thing talk to this thing. It's super quick. It's super easy. And I love it. And You might be thinking all this stuff on your website slows it down, right? That happened to us. There was an update in like March or something, and they hammered us, a Google update for their algorithm, and they hammered our rankings because, our website was a bit slower. So I use this tool, PageSpeed Insights, put in a URL. It'll tell you exactly what to do to fix it. You might not know how to do it, right? But it gives you a laundry list. And then if you do that, your speed goes up. The next update came around. We were back to where we were before. So this is a really, really, really great tool, the speed test tool. And on top of just testing your speed, Google Search Console, if you have a website, you should be in here at least once a month. This is going to tell you everything you need to know about your website. And my favorite thing is it tells you what people Google to come to your site. You don't need Ahrefs. You don't need authority levels. You don't need a keyword tracking tool. Search Console does it for free, right? It'll tell you what the term is, what your average position is, how many impressions you've got it, your click-through rate, right? It's just fantastic. And that's just the beginning of what it does for you. But if you haven't ever tried it out, that one reason should be enough for you to get in there. All right, next, reporting. I like Looker Studio. I don't really like the reporting in Google Analytics. GA4 is much better than the previous, but I just dump all that stuff into Looker Studio, which is another free product from Google. It used to be Google Data Studio. And yeah, you make your really cool reports. They auto update, and you can just have them email people monthly. You don't have to touch it. It's a fantastic tool. It's like Power BI basically, but for free. Sure, we've all heard about OpenAI and ChatGPT, but I really like it. The thing I use it most for is like, hey, make this sound better. I'm not as eloquent as I hope to be, so I like to write myself a little email, then I'll throw it into ChatGPT and say, hey, could you just make this sound a little bit better, a little bit more professional? And they spit it all out, and then I throw up my next tool, Grammarly, to make sure all the grammar is proper, and then I send off my email. And look, I look super smart and professional, and all I do is write a bunch of little notes and then let the machines do the work for me. So that really helps me seem more professional, get through my emails a little bit quicker. And I think that combination is working really well. I use it for content creation too on the website. For design, I'm a one-man marketing machine over here at Satrix, so I got to do the design work too. I like Canva because it's got a lot of things I can throw in. It's just quick and easy, and then I can give access to the owner. He likes to check out the designs I make, and he can just go in there and edit them too. So Canva's a really, really good user-friendly tool. It's no Photoshop, right? It's no Illustrator, but it's a great happy medium, and it'll get the job done in almost all instances. If you have to do project management, my favorite is Monday.com. I like it because it's web-based. I like it because it's got a lot of automation. And my favorite thing is I can go send a form to somebody and they'll fill out that form, like maybe a creative brief. And then it'll just, once it's completed, just fire off all these automations you set up. So I don't really have to interact with it. And people then get those notifications on their own. So if you're running a department, you got a lot going on as the head of the department. It's a good way to automate, these conversations and the tasks without having to touch them. Monday does a good job. There's lots of good project management out there, but that's the one I had the best time with. All right. And for team building, right? That's important. I live in a virtual world. I'm sure most of you do too. We use Microsoft Teams, and this is, we do this monthly. We do these games for work thing. It's a Microsoft Teams plugin. They got Solitaire, Boggle, Minesweeper, and then some question game where you get to know your teammates a little bit. It's a lot of fun. It's limited to 8 people, so it's good for department stuff. But I really like it, and the team seems to like it a lot. And it's a good way to, try to team build in a virtual world. Well, that's my spiel here. Again, it's my free gift to you. If you are looking for a CX research vendor, much like us, download this and see if, we check all the boxes that you need. And again, please give us a call if you have any questions or need any help with customer experience or employee engagement.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ben. That was wonderful. My gosh, going through each of those platforms, I'm checking off. Yes, I use that. Yes, I use that.
Yeah, I'm glad you stuck around. The bonus tips. Everybody likes those bonus tips.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here, especially on your birthday. So Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And if anybody has questions for Ben, I don't see any in the chat, but let's see. Do we have any? I see another happy birthday. Yes. So if you do have questions or anything for Ben, if you want to reach out to him, all of his information is going to be down below in the YouTube description. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, please head over to our channel. Just search AMA Puget Sound, and you'll find this very webinar as well as previous content. So thank you, Ben. Thank
All
you
right.
so
Thank you so
much.
much. And thank you, everybody, for attending. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Absolutely. Have a great day and enjoy your birthday.
I will. I will. Bye bye.
Bye.